Crisis, a la Shmoop. The 20th century didn't start out so great. Russia went red and bid a fond farewell to the Tsar and his family. After the heir to the Austro-Hungarian Empire got shot, Europe lost its collective mind and millions of people ended up dead. 25% of the global population caught a really nasty case of the flu and, well, heck, the Titanic was slayed by an iceberg. What could get worse? With so many crazy things happening, people felt like they were living amidst an ongoing crisis. Writers of the age responded to this issue in different and sometimes opposing ways. The American poet Ezra Pound, for example, didn't like the language in which poetry was written at the time. Way too many adjectives. He decided to start the Imagism movement, the goal of which was to create an extremely specific, yep, you guessed it, image in the reader's mind. Pound sought clarity in poetry. He wanted to strip away past conventions, romanticism and rhetoric, and abstraction. Pound also may have come up with Imagism as a marketing gimmick to help his friend Hilda Doolittle. No relation to Eliza or the Doctor. It got her work published in Europe. It must have worked because here we are 100 years later still talking about how very important Imagism was to 20th century poetry. Pound may have wanted poetry to be hard and polished, but the author, Virginia Woolf, believed the writing of the time should be more diffused, sort of like a spider web of different human perspectives. For Woolf, one of the worst symptoms of the crisis of modernism was the loneliness of modern life. And we figure she knew all about loneliness, given that she killed herself in 1941 by going for a very permanent swim in the local river. Of course, loneliness and that sense of crisis that helped define modernist writing weren't the only feelings Woolf thought people needed to overcome. The prudishness associated with the late 19th century was still alive and very well in Woolf's day. So not only was the world going to hell in a handbasket, but folks were supposed to be very proper and moral. And never, ever, ever talk about sex. With that combo in play, no wonder Woolf thought that her writing should help readers feel more connected to one another. That her purpose should be to reach out and touch someone. Through literature, Virginia. That's through literature. Pound and Woolf were two very different writers, with two very different viewpoints of the modernist movement. Some prefer Pound's method of annihilating innocent adjectives. Others dig Woolf's more lyrical prose. Too bad Woolf went for a swim without end, and Pound decided to add Italian fascism to his repertoire of crazy. Oh well, let's see what happens in the next century. Subscribe to check out more equally fantabulous videos. You should see the subscribe button just below this one. If you're having trouble locating it, we recommend you watch our video, How to Find the Subscribe Button.